This video covers Section 4, Part 2, Working with Amazon SQS Messages. For messages that cannot be processed and then deleted by the consumer, configure a dead letter queue in Amazon SQS. Dead letter queues can help you troubleshoot incorrect transmission operations and stop your queue from continually trying to process a corrupted message. The dead letter queue can receive messages from the source queue after the maximum number of processing attempts, max receive count, has been reached. The max receive count is set as part of the source queue's redrive policy. Messages can be sent to and received from a dead letter queue just like any other SQS queue. You can create a dead letter queue from the Amazon SQS API or console. To configure the dead letter queue from the console, first, create a queue to be used as your dead letter queue. Then, on the source queue, choose to configure a redrive policy. As part of the redrive policy, select the queue to use as the dead letter queue and set the maximum receives option to tell Amazon SQS how many processing attempts to make before sending the message to the dead letter queue. In this example, the source queue is set with a redrive policy with a max receive count equal to 2. Because of the policy, message A is moved to the dead letter queue after the second consumer fails to process the message. Rather than making the message visible to consumers for a third time, Amazon SQS moves message A to the dead letter queue, and the message is no longer available in the source queue. Remember, consumers use a polling model to retrieve messages from an SQS queue. By default, when you make a receive message API call, Amazon SQS performs short polling, in which it samples a subset of SQS servers. Amazon SQS immediately returns only the messages that are on the sampled servers. In this example, short polling returns messages A, B, C, and D, but doesn't return message E. Short polling occurs when the wait time seconds parameter of a receive message call is set to 0. If the number of messages in the queue is small, fewer than 1,000, you will most likely get fewer messages than you requested per receive message call. If the number of messages in the queue is extremely small, you might not receive any messages from a particular receive message call. If you keep requesting receive message, Amazon SQS will sample all of the servers, and you will eventually receive all of your messages. By contrast, with long polling, Amazon SQS queries all of the servers and waits until a message is available in the queue before it sends a response. Long polling helps reduce the cost of using Amazon SQS by eliminating the number of empty responses when no messages are available for a receive message request, and false empty responses when messages are available but aren't included in a response. To enable long polling, set the wait time seconds parameter of the receive message request to a non-zero value between 1 and 20 seconds. Here's an example of a query to retrieve messages by using the receive message API from a queue named test queue. The query includes a few parameters to modify the default behaviors. First, wait time seconds is set to 10, which indicates that long polling is enabled. Next, max number of messages is set to 5, which indicates the maximum number of messages to return in a single call. In addition, visibility timeout is set to 15, which indicates that the message will be invisible to other consumers to process for 15 seconds. To prevent a message from being received and processed again when the visibility timeout expires, the consumer must delete the message. You can use the delete message operation to delete a specific message from a specific queue, or you can use delete message batch to delete up to 10 messages. To select the message to delete, use the receipt handle of the message. To use the delete message batch operation, provide the list of receipt handles to be deleted. The receipt handle is associated with a specific instance of receiving a message. If you receive a message more than once, the the receipt handle is different each time you receive a message. When you use the delete message action, you must provide the most recently received receipt handle for the message. Amazon SQS automatically deletes messages that have been in a queue longer than the queue's configured message retention period. Take a few minutes to review the SQS message lifecycle again. Remember, you can perform these actions with the send message, receive message, and delete message API calls, either programmatically or from the Amazon SQS console. A variety of configuration options affect cost, message processing, and message retention. Here are the key takeaways for this section of the module. Developers use the send message, receive message, and delete message API operations to add, retrieve, and delete queued messages. Amazon SQS makes a retrieved message invisible on the queue for the duration of the visibility timeout. Amazon SQS can send failed records to a dead letter queue for separate processing. And short polling samples Amazon SQS servers for messages, while long polling queries all servers. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.